Emrick of O-Ree County, and we'll get his title and his duties and functions in just a moment. But just to say, today we are going to go looking for a grave site. Again, you're listening to O-Ree County Community Digest. I'm your host and fellow O-Ree County and Herb Malsman. Welcome to O-Ree County Community Digest.info. Thanks for tuning in. Let's cut tape. We are back on tape right now, and obviously let me make sure the clock is working here. We're going to put the clock on. We have arrived where we're going to be. We're in the restaurant row area. I'm looking out at Mega Fitness and looking around Rossi's restaurant. Smoke free for how long now, I don't know. We are looking at a tree right now in off restaurant row right here. There's a Pacific right across the way. There always is, I guess. We are looking at a very impressive tree, and this is our spot today. This is where we're going to be investigating. We're waiting on right now Adam Emrick and his partner. I believe he's Stevie, and I'm not certain of his last name. We'll get that in a moment. We're going to be and they're getting out a GPR unit, a ground penetration radar unit. And we're going to go in search of a grave today, and this is what we're doing. Again, this tree is just remarkable. Let's cut tape over here, and what a tree! We're going to get. We can't get background on a tree. Adam thought it was about 400 years old. That's as much as we know. But come on out here and just see this tree. This is just remarkable. Let's cut tape and wait on Adam and Stevie. Here we go. Cut tape. We are back on tape now, and we're with Adam Emrick and Stevie Brown. Adam, we'll start with you.
All right.
What are we doing here today, and what are we likely to find and not likely to find? Why are we here, and why would these folks be here?
Well, there's a story that has been handed down from generation to generation that Eliza Lonzia Boyd married her sweetheart in the early 1800s, and he had a salt works near the ocean, near the Swash here, near the Galleria. And the story is that there was this magnificent tree that stood on the bluff overlooking kind of the saltworks area, and it was her favorite area and favorite place to be restful. And she always said that when she died, she wanted to be buried under this tree. We have to assume that this is the tree she was talking about, because it is, the most magnificent tree around here.
Wow.
And the story is that she's buried under the tree with no marker. So the tree and her gravesite is on the historic property register, the local historic property register. And when it was put on there, we did not have the technology to come out and try to find where she is. So hopefully today we'll be able to locate her grave.
Let's get Stevie on for a moment. Stevie, are you in training yet? We're going to get back to Eric in a while. Are you in training here? Are you kind of why are we together today?
Yes, sir, I am in training today. I'm with come out with Adam today. I work in the planning department with Adam, and he works in long-range planning, and I work in current planning, doing plan review and everything. But we try to cross-train in all departments and see what each other does, and this is something very interesting to me, and I just wanted to come out and see what was going on myself.
And what happens in you said long-range for Adam and your
current planning.
Okay, so currently what's happening?
Well, not as much as we want to be happening right now. Unfortunately, the development's down, but we are seeing, I think, a little bit more coming in, but that's probably that time of the year also. It's just time for it to start getting a little busier and more plans coming in and more development starting back up.
Oh, so in other words, business is opening. That's what.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's what'll be happening. Right now, just a lot of developments that's been sitting and not having a lot done in them right now are coming back online and trying to get final plats and stuff approved and hopefully start building some houses in them.
Okay, Adam, thank you very much, Stevie. Good to meet you. Okay, Adam, if in fact, and what is her name again?
Eliza Lonzia Boyd.
And what happened to? Did she marry? In other words, you don't suspect two people buried here, just one.
We only have the story of one, although the suspicion clearly is if she's here, probably her husband is as well, depending on other familial standings. It could be children here too. We don't know. Honestly, the only report we have is of the one. So we'll see.
Okay. Now it's overcast today. What weather works best with this GPR?
The weather itself isn't so bad, isn't such a factor as it is the ground, both the soil type and density, and whether it's wet or not. If the ground is wet, it will not function well, and if there's a high level of clay in the soil, it will not function well. So
you cut yourself an end.
Sand is the best, and this is pretty close to the beach, so we should be just fine today.
You think so?
I hope so.
Okay. So we're going. What kind of a tree is this? Besides huge and beautiful and just gosh almighty.
It's a live oak, and I'll defer to Stevie on any other details on it. It is beautiful.
Stevie, any other details?
There's definitely a live oak tree, and it's definitely very old. How old, I would not be able to say, but it's definitely very old.
You thought about 400 years ago?
Probably at least, yes, sir.
400. What was happening 400 years ago in this very spot when this tree was planted?
Not a lot.
You don't think, huh?
Not really, no. This was pretty pristine and untouched at that point, so this, and kind of the exact opposite as it is now.
You mean Rossi's wasn't here and smoke-free?
No, neither was the Kroger.
Neither was a Kroger. Okay, so we're moving up there, and what are the pink little flaglets?
We use
the ant is gone. Don't worry about it.
We use those pink utility flags to mark what we think are graves as we do this, and we've marked hundreds of unmarked graves in the county through our cemetery project.
Okay.
So.
You're used to generally really cemeteries. This is sort of off the beaten path for you a little bit?
This is a little more urban than most of the cemeteries we see, and it's kind of also more unique. This is what I've been really looking forward to doing, so hopefully we'll find some good results.
And again, her name is
Eliza Lonzia Boyd.
Eliza
Lonzia Boyd.
Lonzia Boyd. If she is indeed buried here, what happens to this ground? Does it become hallowed?
If she's here, it already is hallowed, whether we find her or not. The ground is hallowed. Now this particular section is restricted on the deeds to be protected, to protect the tree. The tree is also on the historic property register, so hopefully, in theory, this area here will always remain protected.
So this can't be touched anyway.
That's the theory. That's right.
Well, she really had it figured out when she chose this spot, huh?
I think so. Yes.
Wow. Well, talk about vision, long-range planning.
There you go. That's right.
Long-range planning, Bernie here. Okay. Well, I'm just kind of you're listening to O-Ree County Community Digest. I'm your host and fellow O-Ree County Herb Malsman. You've already discussed where we are, and of course you're hearing this on O-Ree County Community Digest.info. Thanks for tuning in. They're getting ready to. They're just considering and deciding what they're going to do. And Adam is. Okay. It's begun. It's begun.
The one problem with this particular site is there's so much disturbance already to the ground. The activity in the soil here has already been disturbed so much that we may not be able to determine with any surety of what we're finding as a grave or a utility or just something that was dug up at a previous time and recovered. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of investigation and see what we can find out.
Okay, we're gonna take a break and let Adam go to work. I'm certainly not going to be speaking to him as they go, so I'm gonna let him work. I'm gonna take a little break, have a little coffee, and then we'll pick up where we left off. Let's cut tape. Here we go. Okay, we're back on. We've gone through about 3/4 of the site so far. Adam, we were talking off tape right now. I'm looking at a pink flag. We'll go into that in a second. You were talking about what you're finding so far. What have you been finding? And again, you're about 3/4 of the way through the project right now. What have you found, and what does this flag note?
Well, we found one aberration in this area so far. One thing we're finding here is because the tree is so large, we're finding a lot of root system. So we have to try to differentiate between the root system and something else. So it's not just so cut and dry as there's something different in the ground here. It could be a root, it could be development, it could be anything. But this one area here, we're finding that it's kind of standing out from the root system and other things. So we're gonna do a little more investigation on this one particular site and see what we can find. And what we're looking for the graves is we're looking for a certain depth. The old axiom is people are buried 6 feet under. In O-Ree County, you're not, because the water table is so high, and if you put them 6 feet under, you'd be putting them underwater. And people didn't dig that deep historically. They dug until it wasn't feasible to dig any further, and they put the box in, or the body in, or the vault in. So you're looking at somewhere at the top of the grave being about 2 feet to 3 feet down, and then the depth needed to put the body any further than that. So we're looking for aberrations at that depth.
You're talking about throughout O-Ree County. Stevie's waiting on you over there. You're saying throughout O-Ree County, graves are not 6 feet deep generally?
That's correct. That's correct. We found very few that are that deep in the county.
So you won't have, if you're still breathing, you won't have that far to dig out. Sorry.
That's right. That's right. It's a little safer for you.
Wow. So graves are 3 to 4 feet deep. I guess are 3 feet deep rather than 6.
That is correct. Yes.
So really, the casket is almost at the surface.
In some places it is, and that's one of the problems we're finding too in a lot of cemeteries. Some of the older ones that were not as well maintained or were not as well planned, if they're close to the water table, we're finding some of the vaults actually raising out of the surface, and that becomes a big problem, especially if they're metal and they erode. Then you have a problem with the casket actually being obvious from the outside. You can see it from ground level.
My daughter and I were in Paris in June of 2000 and also in '99. We were at Père Lachaise Cemetery. Do you know Père Lachaise?
That's where Jim Morrison's buried?
Oh, yeah. There you go, Jim Morrison. Yeah, have you been there?
I've not, no.
Yeah, we got to the gravesite, Jim Morrison's gravesite.
That's fantastic.
Talk about. But you know, I get caught in that cemetery at night. If it closes, I mean, it's plenty spooky, in the daytime, but at night it must. Holy cow! You don't think it's stuck there.
Well, I think if you've been in as many cemeteries as I've been in, the spooky factor might be gone.
Père Lachaise is a whole different deal. So Jim Morrison, she went there to see the bust of Jim Morrison, but it was taken away. Somebody stole it. It was psychedelically painted and all that, and then somebody stole it. So she was pretty disappointed, and people were leaving joints there and flowers at a pair of shoes because he got up and walked around. I mean, it's just remarkable, sightseeing buses showing up there.
Well, one of the things that we're doing with this project also is recording those things that are left behind as mementos. Now, we've not found anything quite that unusual.
Cigarettes.
The most unusual thing we found, I think, has been a toothpick that's been glued to a stone, and apparently the person who's deceased was known for always having a toothpick in his mouth. That was one of the things that they wanted to remember him by, and matchbox cars and things like that. We're finding some interesting things like that, but nothing quite on level with someone like Jim Morrison. The
gravestone, it says that against the devil inside of him. I think that's what the inscription is.
That's pretty fitting. Yeah, that's pretty fitting.
Jim Morrison. Okay, so Stevie has stopped there. Stevie, what do you see? What?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to refer to Adam if I do see anything at all. He's a lot more familiar with reading this than I am. That's a little deeper than any of the other things that we've seen right here, Adam. I didn't know.
Let's flag it and do some more investigation on
it. The ridge is kind of looks like a sort of a mountain range kind of thing happening there. And you said it was deeper, meaning what?
Well, depending on the soil topography and everything, it depends on where they would have buried them, like I said. So they would have dug until it wasn't feasible to dig anymore. Some of the older historic graves, the ones from the early 1800s, are buried at a different depth sometimes.
Yeah.
And that, for whatever reason. And especially when you're digging around a large tree with a large root system, they might have had to have dug deeper to get around that root system. So that could be something, and it is, because it's a disturbance deeper than usual, it's an aberration, and that's really what we're looking for.
So really, those are sound waves you're looking at there. You're kind of looking at sound wave, like a radar, like a sonar.
It really is radar, yeah. It sends millions of signals down it measures them, so there's so many of them, it measures them in nanoseconds. So they're coming back with huge amounts of data. And because you're getting so much data, you're able to extrapolate norms from that data, and what we filter out is those norms, and we look for the differences. So we're not actually seeing skeletons or caskets or treasure. What we're seeing is differences in soil density, and that's what we're measuring. And from the difference in soil density, we have to do a little bit of guessing whether we're finding a grave, whether we're finding something else. So I cannot tell you for certain when we leave here today that what we found is a grave. The only way to do that would be to excavate, and we're not going to do that. But what I can tell you is that there's an aberration in an area consistent with where a grave has been reported, and therefore we're going to make the assumption that it might be a grave.
And is there anything definitive on that beyond probably or supposedly? Is there anything definitive that says this is a grave site, or no?
Not without digging or probing and hitting a box, and that's the other way. It's not really as accurate as what we're doing, and some people do grave dowsing with dowsing rods, dividing rods. I've not seen it done, although I hear it's as accurate as what we do, although I'm not sure the science behind that.
Well, that's with the stick, the divining.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. You're about to plant another. So this is the third This is the third pink flag that they are planting, and this one kind of describing these are two flags looking north and south. I guess north and south.
Actually, east and west, which is the right way. Yeah.
Is looking east and west, and they're probably about 3, maybe 2.5 feet from each other. What does that tell you?
Well, that means that the aberration here is at least 3 feet long. If we find another one in about 2 more feet away, then we'll have something consistent with what a gravesite would be shaped like. Whereas the first pink flag we put does not have any other aberrations around it, which means it's a single solitary aberration, making it less likely to be a grave. Also, we look for the direction of the aberration, and this one is going east to west. Historically, based on religion, people were buried with their head at the east, their feet at the west, so that when Jesus returns at resurrection, or at the end of times, they'll raise up to face him. So the graves usually are almost always situated with the head at the east and the foot at the west. So if it was facing north and south, it would be less likely to be a grave, but here, since it's maybe facing east and west, we might be finding something very consistent.
And that's why people sleep east to west. There are people that sleep in that.
I guess so.
Geographical.
And other religions, like in Judaism, they face towards Jerusalem, which also happens to be east-west here, so that makes it easy for us finding graves. They're pretty consistently facing that same direction.
We're hoping to see another flag right around here.
We'll see. We're gonna even if we don't, we'll come back and do a little bit more investigation, a little more in depth, and see what we can find.
In depth.
No pun intended.
Okay, Here you go. Okay, you're listening to O-Ree County Community Digest. I'm your host and fellow O-Ree County and Herb Malsman. We're with Stevie Brown and Emrick of O-Ree County Planning. And we're in search of Eliza. I'm not even going to get it. I'm going to write the name down so I can put it on the website, but I'm not going to try. But I'm pretty sure her name was Eliza. They're just passing the spot now with the 3 flags. They're just east of the 2 flags now, and they're discussing this situation. And they keep on going. So far the 2 flags. Let's cut tape. Okay, Adam has removed the flags now and is putting some orange tape where the flags were, and that's what's happening. He's sticking them there now, and I'm just looking under the tree over here. I see an ashtray. I wonder if she was a smoker. And folks, I don't know, I guess people would just came out here to smoke a cigarette or smoke whatever, and they left the ashtray behind. Come on, guys, don't do things like that, right?
That's right.
Yeah, don't be leaving us. Take your stuff.
That's right. We do find a lot of litter all over the county, unfortunately, and hopefully that's something we can rectify soon.
Right. Okay, now you just marked the orange tape. Why the marking?
We're going to do, like I said, we're going to do a little more in-depth study at this particular site, and we're actually going to do a little 3D try on it and see if we can find any more dimension on it. And to do that, we need to run the machine over the site again, and the flags will actually impede the radar. So we're pulling the flags up and marking with something that won't be magnetic.
And when are you going to be doing the 3D?
In about 5 minutes here.
Oh, good. Yeah. So we're going to be here for that.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's cut tape. Here we go. We're back. What they're doing right now. Adam has just laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like he's going about a foot per flag. 7 going east and west, and then heading north right now. I guess he's heading north right now, laying out flags. That's sort of, they're going north. So going east, west, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There are 6, 7 east, west, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flags going north, south. And now he's laying out a box pattern, or a grid pattern right now. Okay, so then that's what they've done. So those are the flags right now. And let's catch Adam real quick. What was that for?
We're going to do a 3D analysis on the site, so we'll be able to tell the shape of the aberration.
And the same machine?
In the same machine, that's right.
Oh, this is quite a machine.
It really is. It's not cheap either.
Okay, not cheap. Let's cut tape. In fact, let's leave this open and hear what they're kind of eavesdrop here. What's happening now?
the problem with 3D is it's so precise. It's not really meant for larger sections like we're doing. Typically, it's used for finding rebar and concrete and construction projects. So if you want to drill for a plumbing or whatever, you want to make sure you're not going to hit anything metal. You could do a very small section, like inch by inch. We're going to do it foot by foot, which makes it a little less precise and harder to get the layout going right. And
is it too far? Is the person buried under here, perhaps, is she too far gone for a cadaver dog?
Yes. Yes, I would say so. There's probably not anything left of the cadaver. It's simply soil changes right now. So I don't think there'd be anything left to find in that way. If you dug, you may not even find anything but a difference in soil there. So hopefully we'll find something this way.
Ashes to ashes.
And here it's sand to sand. That's right.
Sand to sand. Yeah. Okay. So there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 feet. So that's 6 feet. 6 by 52 inches is what he's saying. So let's cut that. I'm looking at the screen right now. It's basically looks sort of like a lawnmower sort of thing, an electric lawnmower, a power lawnmower with a screen, sort of like a little computer screen here at the handle. So as they're working with it, they said they've got the handle, and they're moving along like a lawnmower. And they're looking at its grid project GR002, and there are grids. It's a box with grids in it, and parameters that start canceling all that, and antennae, and 500 MHz shallow, and that's what I'm looking at. It's not making any sense to me at all, but you know. But folks, somebody out there, we have some techies out there, perhaps, who know what I'm talking about. Antenna 300 MH cap, lowercase z, / shallow. What does that mean, folks? Call that in. Okay, let's. What do we, Stevie? What's happening right now? Anything showing up that you can tell?
I don't think he will know until he gets finished with what he's doing here. When he gets finished with the lines, then he can put it all together, and then maybe we'll possibly see something, hopefully.
Okay, so you can't tell right now. You're just doing this right now, and then you have to look it over.
Put all the information together, yes, sir.
Okay, Herb,
yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, looks like Lance Armstrong before the troubles.
Yeah.
It's always been troubles.
Yeah.
Poor Lance. Okay, let's cut tape. Okay, Adam is looking over what he's seen so far. I'm going to let him concentrate a little bit over here. Again, it's not so much sound waves. It looks like the soil may be, you know, the ridges beneath. To my untrained eye, I'm not seeing maybe something on the right there a little bit. No, I'm not seeing anything different here.
And I'm sorry I'm being quiet.
That's okay.
I haven't found anything yet that I'm gonna yellow a flag on yet. So
nothing yet. I'm looking at. How do we describe the image we're looking at over there? Anyway.
What we're seeing is we're seeing both the x-axis and the y-axis, and we're looking for what's called a parabola, or an upside-down U, which basically, because you're pushing this machine across the plane, and it shoots down a cone of data. The closer you get to an aberration, you start to pick up a signal, but the signal is not intensified until you actually go over the aberration. So it makes that shape almost like a bell curve of the signal intensity. So that's.
But right now it's like squiggly lines.
Yeah, right now that's all you see right now is squiggly lines. And we're looking for something that jumps out of those squiggly lines at us as the aberration.
And you said an overturned U.
That's right.
Okay, so that's what I'm looking for here. And I want to keep it open in case something all of a sudden it happens. So we'll in wonderment over here. So I'm going to keep on chatting. We'll put you on hold. Strangers in the night. Do something here. Well, let me see. We don't run commercials, so I can't do a commercial right now. Okay, we don't want to miss out on. Sorry, folks, but I'm trying to keep
bad radio. Right?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the air alive rather than dead. There's nothing worse than dead air. Pun, another pun here. So dead air is not good, you know, on radio. TV, I guess it works okay, but radio can't work. People go, what happened? Okay, and listen, folks, while we're waiting over here, check out some of the links that you'll find on this site. Some good stuff here. There's sort of like an upside down U.
Yeah, the aberration is where we expected it to be, and it actually has some dimensions, so that's good.
So everything is kind of. I saw the difference right away. I could tell.
That's it right there.
So you've got an upside down U, not exactly U, more like an upside down V perhaps, or
sure.
Well, not a V, but V would be even more than a U.
Yeah, it's almost like a smile, a frown. How about that? A frown.
Yeah, a smile upside down.
There you go.
Okay. And folks, check out some of the links. There's some good stuff over here. As I understand, the weather, the National Oceanographic something or other was saying it's going to be a heavy weather season. Check out Storm Spotters online over here. Check the link. Okay, what are we looking at?
Well, of all the sites, the entire area here, this is the only site that I would say has the consistency of a grave. It's certainly close enough to the proximity of the trunk that it could be a grave. And I actually would I can't say it's a grave. I say it's consistent with a grave. It's the shape of a grave. It's the size of a grave. It's the depth of a grave, and it's in a place where a grave has been reported. So I'm going to mark this tentatively as the grave site of Eliza Lonzia Boyd.
How long did it take for you to pick up on that name and get it down?
We have to write it 3 or 4 times to get it.
So you know how to write it out?
Yes, I do.
You're going to have to write it out for me on the way out so I could put it on the site.
We actually have a plaque in my office that will go out here at some point to commemorate both the tree and the grave.
When will that happen?
Well, I'd hope to bring it with me today, but it's actually at the museum and I have to find it. So we used it in an exhibit in the fall, and it'll come back out here hopefully soon.
Okay, so that's what's happening over here. You believe how certain are you that you found the grave? In percentage?
70.
Well, that's pretty good.
Of this site, this is the only spot that is consistent with a grave. So if I were told that there was definitely a grave here, I would say that percentage would be higher. So if I was anywhere else in the county and I was finding an aberration and this was the aberration I found, I would give you a very low percentage. But because we know there's historical record that there's probably a grave here, and we found something consistent with a grave, I'd say that this is probably the gravesite of Eliza Lonzia Boyd.
Right. You said that's going to be going on sites pretty soon. Give us a website.
I don't have a website address for you yet. Internally, we're still reviewing and testing the Cemetery Project website, but what we hope that will allow anyone to do from anywhere in the country and the world is to do genealogical research on ancestors' graves buried here in O-Ree County. You can type in the name of anyone, any ancestor. It'll pull up everyone with that last name or that name. It'll show you exactly on the map where they're buried and have the condition of their grave. It'll have all the details of their grave, including the birth date, the death date, the epitaph, symbols, anything left behind as mementos, and also it'll have a photograph of the grave. So you won't need to visit your family's graves here in O-Ree County. If you live in Alaska, you'll be able to see it all on the internet.
Okay, and that's will be up soon, you think?
Hopefully in the next couple months.
Can they reach you through OreeCounty.org?
Yes, absolutely. OreeCounty.org through the planning department link. If you get to the planning department, you can find me that way. Also through the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation, which I'm the staff liaison for. Okay,
and that link, OreeCounty.org, can be found at the site. Just look for OreeCounty.org, and you can also catch the council meetings there, O-Ree County Council. So that's a link you want to check out, and you'll come to Adam Emrick's field of expertise.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, we're not finished yet. I'm going to let you keep on going. And Eliza
Lonzia Boyd.
Lonzia Boyd.
That's right. That's right.
Got tape. Okay, let's do a quick goodbye to Adam. Adam, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you for having me. This is a great opportunity to kind of spread the word about the stuff we're doing here at the county.
Okay, Stevie, thank you.
Thank you very much. We've had a nice time today, and I appreciate it.